Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning back into another math lesson. Today we are on lesson 16.3, page 235 in your student reference guide. You'll also need your math notes, pencil, eraser, and a good place to write. I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can all follow along together. Okay, here we go. 16.3, adding hours and minutes. So let's look at that objective. Add time with and without regrouping. Okay, so let's see what that means. Let's look at this first one that's an example. So it says add time without regrouping. Today, Mr. Carlson works 2 hours and 15 minutes in the morning. He works 5 hours, 10 minutes in the afternoon. How long did he work today? 2 hours, 15 minutes, 5 hours, 10 minutes. How long is that all together? Okay, so first it says step 1 to add the hours. So 2 hours plus 5 hours is 7 hours. Step 2 says to add the minutes. 15 minutes plus 10 minutes. 15 minutes plus 10 minutes equals 25 minutes. So Mr. Carlson worked 7 hours, 25 minutes today. Okay, so let's practice. Let's do guided learning. Number 1, it says complete. 3 hours, 20 minutes plus 4 hours, 15 minutes equals what? Okay, so just like up here where it says step 1, add the hours, we're going to follow that. So our hours are 3 hours plus 4 hours. Oh, look, and she's even giving us that hint too. 3 hours plus 4 hours, 3 plus 4 is 7, okay. Then 20 minutes plus 15 minutes, okay, 20, 35 minutes. So it's 7 hours, 35 minutes, okay. Let's look at another example. It says add time with regrouping. Emily takes a flight from Chicago to New York. She waits 40 minutes to check her luggage. Then she waits 1 hour and 55 minutes before boarding the airplane. How long does she wait in all? So she's telling us 40 minutes and 55 minutes add up to more than 60 minutes. So regroup the result. Okay, let's see how they did that. 40 minutes plus 1 hour and 55 minutes. That's what we're trying to figure out. First, let's add the minutes. 40 minutes plus 55 minutes is 95 minutes. Okay, 95 minutes, remember that an hour is 60 minutes. So that's where the hour comes from, 60 of those 95, and then 35 minutes are left over. Now it says add the hours. 1 hour and 35 minutes from right up here, plus the 1 plus 1 hour equals 2 hours, 35 minutes. She waits 2 hours, 35 minutes in all. Okay, guided learning number 2. Skip a little spot in your math notes, write number 2 down, and says first add the minutes. Okay, so let's add 45 minutes plus 35 minutes. 45 minutes plus 35 minutes. Hopefully you got that's 80 minutes. Okay, so now 80 minutes would go here. When you break that down, it's 60 minutes plus 20 minutes. Remember, 60 minutes is an hour. So that's 1 hour right here, and the 20 minutes is left over goes right here. Then add the hours. 2 hours plus 5 hours plus 1 hour. And then you've got your minutes for your total of 8 hours, 20 minutes. Go ahead and turn your page. This is a game that you can play. I'm going to attach Blackline Masters for this one because you're going to need to see the game board and either print, or it's an easy game board, you could recreate it with a pencil and a piece of paper as long as you can see it. It says, let's play time shuffle. You need at least 2 players, but you can play with more. And a counter, anything. Could be a Lego piece, a bean, a rock, and then your game board that you can find on the attachments to the weekly schedule. Player 1 tosses a counter until it lands on a clock on the game board. Here's kind of what the game board will look like when you print it out. The player writes the time that is shown on the clock picture. For example, the player gets 50 minutes if the counter lands on the clock showing 50 minutes. All of these are different times. Player 1 tosses the counter again and writes another time. So for example, the player gets 2 hours. So the player then adds the 2 times. 50 minutes plus 2 hours is 2 hours and 50 minutes. Player 2 has to check the answer. Player 1 gets 1 point for a correct answer. Take turns. Play at least 5 rounds, and the player with the most points wins. All right, that's a fun one along the way. All right, let's move on to the let's practice. I would flip your math notes over to your next first blank page. There wasn't a whole lot of practice together in this lesson, so let's do a couple together before I let you go on your own. So it says to add, it says use number bonds to help you. So let's just start with number 1. 4 hours, 15 minutes plus 5 hours, 30 minutes. Well, remember how we just practiced it? We're gonna put the hours together and add those up, and then we're gonna add the minutes. So let's start with the 4 hours and the 5 hours. So 4 plus 5, 9 hours. Now add the 15 minutes and the 30 minutes. I usually would start with the 30 because it's larger, and then add 10 and then add 5. So 45 minutes, 9 hours, 45 minutes for number 1. Let's take a look at maybe number 6. Leave spaces for 2, 3, 4, and 5 because you're going to come back to those on your own. Just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Number 6 says 6 hours, 5 minutes plus 1 hour, 35 minutes. So remember our strategies. Add the hours first. 6 plus 1, 7. And then add the minutes. 35 minutes plus 5. 35 plus 5, 40. 7 hours, 40 minutes. Okay, let's do the last one. Let's do number 13 together. And then I'll let you go off on your own and I'll show you the answers for when you come back. Number 13 says 3 hours, 25 minutes plus 3 hours, 45 minutes. For this one, let's add the minutes first because they look like a lot. Looks like it might go over 60 and we might have to regroup. So let's start with the minutes. 45 minutes plus 25 minutes. I usually go 45 and then count by 10s. 55. I can't say 65 because, I mean, that's a minute and 5 seconds. So it's usually easier if I write it out like this. I would show 25 and 45. Here's where you're going to have to regroup because you've got your 5 plus 5. And then 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to give you 70 minutes. But think, how many minutes are in an hour? 60. So that equals 1 hour. So if there's 60, but we had 70, how many minutes are left over? Just 10 minutes. But we're going to have to add those hours up. So you've got 3 hours plus 3 hours, which is 6, plus the 1 that we are having to regroup. 6 plus 1 is 7. So that's how you get 7 hours and then add on those 10 minutes. 7 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, now would be a good time to pause me because I'm going to show all the answers to the Let's Practice and your math workbook pages In your math workbook, it's page 151, page 152. I'll also show the answers to both of those pages as well. It's just number 1 through 8. Happy computing today. Here we go. Oh, I should have shown. Here's the let's practice. Oh, let me unshare my screen. You can see it much better. Okay, and then here is the homework answers. See you next time for 16.4. Don't forget to like and subscribe.